Hello Virgo, and welcome to your November reading. I hope everybody's doing well. I can't believe we're actually in November, right? We only have a couple months and this year is almost finished. This November also comes with something a little extra. As you know, this is a Mercury Retrograde period that we're in, and understandably this can cause some concern because of course it's well documented that during a retrograde, communication can be a little bit tricky, travel, there can be some delays, and a lot of times technology doesn't always act the way you want it to. But there are also blessings during this period, and I really want to focus on that because I believe that that can help empower you, and we really want to try to maximize whatever energy we're given in a given month. So let's do that this month. Let me talk a little bit about the blessings, and then we'll get into the forecast. One of the big things that I know a lot of you will be interested in is that Mercury Retrograde enhances your natural psychic ability. Specifically when it comes to revealing things that you've either been avoiding, unaware of, or that you need to know about. So a lot of times if there is underlying tension in a relationship that I have, doesn't matter who it's with, a coworker, a family member, someone that I've just met, a neighbor, I will pick up on it in a dream. And because in my dream space, a lot of times I get things like almost black and white or very straightforward. The person may just say something to me that they're angry with me, whatever they want to say or feel, it just comes straight out. So that's very helpful for me because then I know what I need to do to diffuse that situation in real day-to-day life. Another thing that I've noticed too is that I can sometimes pick up on things through symbology. So I'll see something going on remotely that I need to pay attention to as well. So clairvoyance, really heightened. Any sort of lucid dreaming that you do, you're going to experience a boost in that. And then if you meditate and try to go into your intuition, you're also going to notice wonderful enhancements across the board. So for anybody out there that's trying to get a little bit better at whatever you do, whether it's mediumship, reading cards, or just kind of tuning into your body and your spiritual energy, do it this month. You're going to notice great things. Now, that revelation piece, being able to see things, this is really key because if there's something in your life that you didn't succeed at or that you've had a lot of difficulty kind of completing or achieving, you can now, in this retrograde period, try it again. This is the absolute best time of year, or whenever it happens, sometimes 2 or 3 times in a year. But anytime a retrograde period happens, revising, revisiting, attempting again, however you want to kind of wrap up that word, that's what you want to do, because with your heightened intuition and with the fact that this is coming through so you can let it go, it's about breaking cycles, basically, retrograde. You can take all of these positive things and succeed at something that you failed at in the past. So this is your opportunity for a second chance, okay? So when you look at those two things, retrograde is not the worst thing in the world. Yeah, you might have to plan for a little bit of extra time when you're writing an email to make sure that it's worded properly, or leave some extra time around traveling and back up your computer. But you'll be able to handle a lot of the other things in your life because the world is actually kind of working to help you out, okay? And some of those delays and some of those other challenges also pop up so that we can focus on what we need to. With that being said, let's now talk a little bit about the forecast. I know that's why you all came here, so first of all, let me tell you who I am. If you're brand new, my name is Nicholas Ashbaugh, and the way that I organize the forecast is as follows. It's usually in about 4 major pieces. The beginning is the channeled message, and the channeled message is me connecting with my intuitive information and guides, and whatever I see, feel, and hear, I'll share it with you. After that, I select a deck of cards and I lay out a full Celtic cross, and during this period, we let the cards do the walking here, and really they're going to help reveal whatever needs to be seen as far as challenges, opportunities, blocks, everything in between. And then I access my clairvoyance as well to add additional information to what they show. And then I like to extend this to look at health, wealth, love, and destiny after that, because I know these are key areas that all of you really want to know about each and every month. Everything that I design in this forecast can be used for your sun, your rising, as well as your moon sign. And if you would like to look at it for someone that you love in your life, a family member, a loved one, etc., you can do that. By the way, if you don't know your sun, rising, and moon, then just stick with the sign that you were born under, and that'll give you all the information that you need. So if you like what you see here, and I certainly hope you do, please stick around until the end. I throw in a couple of extra things to make it worth the wait. At the very end, what I will do is give you a nice, concise overview of everything that we talked about. And that usually can be summed up in about 5 to 7 minutes. So I crunched the whole reading into that amount of time so that you can have something to take away. And I also will give you a closing word, some big idea based on everything that we've seen. If you also want to support the channel, it's at that point that I'll go into great depth on all the different ways that you can help out, giving you all the links and how it makes a difference. But just as a quick overview, this includes everything from liking and subscribing, sharing across social media, booking an appointment if you're interested, or becoming a patron. And that can be either through Patreon or clicking the join button here. All of that, again, I will detail at the end. But right here, right now, let's get straight into the reading because there's a lot to talk about this month. So as I selected a deck of cards and began to focus on the energy of your sign, there were two things that came to me. The first was a word. I just saw the word clarity and I wrote that down. I also saw a crystal in my mind's eye. So crystal clarity is what I captured in automatic writing, but I want to break those two things apart a little bit. With respect to the crystal, I think that there is both a literal meaning with this, which is if you've never worked with crystals, this is a good month to try it. And if you've experienced success with crystals, I want you to especially lean on them this month. This is a citrine crystal, by the way. These are really powerful ways to amplify your own intuition. I think that I've talked about this before and I have a video about it as well, so I'm not going to go into too much depth here, but I think everybody should have some good quartz crystals. You notice here in the background I have a protective amethyst crystal, and citrine is great as well. Take a look at that video. I go into some of what all of these crystals mean and do, but the other piece of this is to be crystal clear. Crystal clear in your communication, as we talked about at the beginning. It's going to be important to make sure that context and tone is in your communications and is really clear for the recipient. But I also think it's about setting goals. Because the way that I saw the crystal in my mind's eye was it was pointing, there were like 3 or 4 points, but it was all pointing towards one very distinct area in the future, and that's where you're headed. And I think that if you can be crystal clear on what it is you're trying to accomplish, whether it is, a relationship goal, a business goal, or some sort of self-improvement that you're trying to make, when you know what you want, then the universe starts to give you ways on how to accomplish it. And with your intuition being in a heightened state this month, you can receive that, as I said, in dreams, in thoughts, in feelings in your body. So get clear on that as soon as possible so you can start to pick up on hints and cues from the universe. The clarity piece is also making sure that you're clear with others on what your expectations are. And I think that if you can help people understand what it is that you want, they also know how to show up for you. If you're not sure of what you're looking for, this is especially true whether you're trying to date somebody, looking for love, or you're in a relationship. When people don't know who you are or what you want, then you start to attract sort of a chaotic mix of people in your life. So when you know all of those things, when you think to yourself, this is who I am, this is what I'm trying to accomplish, and universe, I'm ready for this or something better. Always add that in your manifestation. Then you can start to see some progress in those areas. Finally, and I would say most importantly, especially if we're thinking of like a quartz crystal, which is what I saw in my meditation, I think this has to do with detoxification. Notice that usually when I pick a crystal, quartz crystal, I go for clarity and a nice cut if I can as well. And then of course how it feels when I pick it up. But what I was really seeing was the clarity. And so I think that if you can work on clearing your energy this month by avoiding any sort of low frequency habits that you might have, whether that's drinking, smoking, hanging out with people that are really negative, and maybe staying away from gossip, or even consuming media or movies that are also kind of showing anything like violence or negativity. What you can start to do then is to bring your energy into that crystal state. And the clearer and cleaner you go, the better you're going to be at seeing things, manifesting, and being in your highest frequency and power. So that's the message for your sign this month, is to really be like that crystal. Clear, clean and capable of seeing everything around you. That's the whole point of getting your intuition heightened as well, is so that you can kind of skip over some of the nonsense that day-to-day life tends to throw your way, right? All right, let's go ahead now and take a look at the cards and see what additional insights they have to yield for the month ahead. I pull the camera down at this point and I like to remain quiet while I'm laying everything out, but please stick around because afterwards I'm going to pull up every single card and go into what it means for you in the month ahead. Let's take a look now at your Catalyst card, a reminder that the Catalyst functions as a connective thread between everything that we see here. It's also a way for you to access the highest energy and avoid any potential pitfalls. So we have two components to this. The first one I want to focus on is magic. As I said earlier, your thoughts very much are a manifesting force this month, especially when I'm looking in possibilities. We have the High Priestess. And that was what I was saying. You have heightened intuition, you have heightened manifestation skills. So if you think like it's going to be a bad day, you start to put the energy out there that, okay, negative forces, I'm ready. But if you start to think today's a good day, then beneficial energy starts to come in and you start to attract positive things. So let's not go to the negative this month. Take each and every day, each and every experience as a learning point and something that will help you get to the next level. It's almost as if you're playing a game, right? And you're getting to that, and you're leveling up, +1, right? Okay, so that's what's going on. And if you can start to look at it from that perspective, you're empowered and you're going to be improving. And you know, all of this, and this is truly what's happening anyway, it's all happening to make you stronger, make you better. You're calling it into reality. So instead of calling in lower frequency doubt, fear, frustration, anger type things, pull in things like aspirational energy, of feeling that this is possible, I can do it, I am doing it. And as you start to paint that picture, then the universe starts to respond. So that's the magic piece. Then we have the fairy piece here. And for me, fairy magic or fairies they're an old elemental energy. And when I looked at this, what came to mind was being playful. And I think that what I'm getting from my guides anyway is to have a sense of humor about where you're at. And it's not like self-deprecating, because I'm not a big fan of making yourself feel like you're less than. But I think that it's more sort of like if you realize that sometimes life is ridiculous, right? We have things going on and you get put in situations that are bizarre. And if you can kind of roll with the punches and have a little bit more fun with this process, then you're going to be able to go through the highs and the lows a lot easier. And having fun is key. So what are the fairies like? I typically think of being outside, nature, playing, trying to sort of interact with children and with activities that really bring you out of being so serious, morose, or just kind of too practical. So the message here is that when you start to have fun, when you start to play, you actually are pulling in elemental magic into your life, and you can start to manifest that joy. That's why this card, by the way, it's all green. It's all the heart center. When you have fun, when you laugh a little bit, when you're not so serious, when you just think, whatever happens will happen, that detachment, that joy, that creative energy is actually going to manifest wonderful, beautiful things. That's what fairy magic is about. So I actually do believe there are old spirits on the earth, elemental spirits. They have a lot of different names. If you like gardening, this is a good way to attract positive energy. And that elemental protective magic, just clear out all the underbrush and all of that stuff that shouldn't be around your house. Put some beautiful flowering plants and keep a nice clean garden. Not only are you going to have a nice flow of chi and energy, but you can also attract positive elemental spirits, plus some nice butterflies and other things too. Now, if you're in a winter season right now, you can bring some of this energy into your house. That's why I always have flowers in my house. And yes, they are live flowers. I get questions all the time. I have some that are not blooming at this point, but you can see these are real. So I constantly have flowers, both green and flowering, in the house, and it's really important to keep some energy, to keep some life in here. Artificial doesn't work. So better to buy some fresh cut flowers, or I always like having potted plants or epiphytic plants, or it doesn't really matter. Just life in general is going to attract more life and more light. Make sense? All right, let's go ahead now and look at each card one by one. And I really love your center card. This is one of the few that it doesn't matter if it's upright or reversed, like Four of Wands, Three of Pentacles. I'm trying to think what other ones would kind of fall into that category, but this is definitely one of them. Three of Pentacles is a recognition card, and it also is a great card if you're a writer in particular, or anyone that's trying to get something patented, published, or distributed, because this is showing that what you are holding on to is definitely something that people are going to be interested in. It's also a card that is associated with graduation, getting a promotion, or again, getting some sort of a recognition, maybe an article or some sort of interview published. So with the Three of Pentacles in reverse, here's the thing. There's a slight delay, but it doesn't mean that it's not going to happen. And the other thing is, I feel like because this card is being crossed by the moon, there may be someone in your midst this month where they can't celebrate your success or what's going on with you. So this is the revelation that's coming through in retrograde. As you start to wake up and as you start to kind of increase your energy, people will naturally come into your life and also fall out of your life. That's a trend that I've seen. I've been talking about it in different signs this month. And I see a little bit of that with you. You're right on the precipice of doing something you've always wanted to do, or succeeding, or having some sort of great influx of money or an opportunity. So I see something nice on the horizon. If it hasn't already happened, there's a little bit of a delay, but it seems like it's going to happen. But the moon on top of this shows me two things. One, someone in your midst may not be helping you out. They may even be conspiring to delay it, but they can't delay it because you did a good job, so that's good. The other thing is you don't want to let your own fear or negativity further delay or taint this good opportunity. So if it's delayed a little bit, don't automatically think that your boss or whoever's trying to bring this together doesn't have your back. They're simply overloaded. There might be other people in line that are also needing to be recognized, and you're part of that batch. Have faith, be positive. Remember, you are manifesting this month. Use that magic to put out this idea that they have my best interest at hand, in heart, and it's going to happen. I'm not going to give in to the shadow energy. That's really all you need to do to bring about the best possible outcome. Some of you may want to go back to school. There could be a longing with this, or you want to do something to be recognized or to be appreciated. So go for it. There's really nothing negative with that card. It's a great card to have in the center. The moon card is just about fears and things that you need to look at. It can also be dealing with divine, feminine, and creative energy. So some of you have this artistic dream or desire that wants to come out and express itself this month. Absolutely do that. That's a really great way to transmute any sort of negative or difficult thoughts or feelings that you have. And I see a little bit of that. I'm going to get into that in a second. So you could channel it into painting, writing, dancing, anything that you want that's an artistic form. So that's something I'd like to highlight as well. The moon can also be a sign that your body needs a rest, especially if you're a woman. It could show an irregular cycle, and I see that because I've got 9 of Swords and 10 of Swords here. So if you've noticed that your cycle's off, or that you're just not feeling 100%, take care of your body, however it's manifesting. For some of you, it could be insomnia. For others, it could be chronic pain, and a migraine or something in the back, usually when it's the 10 of Swords. I know it's hard to read that. So yes, this is a month where you might be overdoing it to reach this sort of pinnacle of success. So the Moon card is saying take care of yourself. 9 of Swords, get enough sleep. 10 of Swords, pay attention to anything that your body's saying, where it's sort of like that uh-oh switch. So that's in the recent past and the crowning position. So you really want to be cognizant of that. Before I get ahead of myself, I do want to say what was in the deep past. We have the 5 of Swords here. And the 5 of Swords is really appropriate for a retrograde period. I've been seeing 5s and 7s a lot of Swords because it's hard sometimes to gauge communication. And I feel like some of you have had people in your life where it just hasn't been easy to win an argument with them, or they just always seem to be picking a fight. Whatever that was, I think that it's now time to kind of walk away from that energy. That's the advice I've been giving to several signs, and especially you. There's too many things to celebrate. Your future looks really bright, but there's something that needs to leave your life first. I actually see the Death card in your ego, and it's reversed. So there's something stagnating, and it could be a relationship because we have the Queen and King of Pentacles, and the King of Pentacles is reversed right above that Death card. So I'll get into that in a second, but some of you might be at a point where you're leaving a work situation, or you're breaking up with someone, or you and a friend are becoming estranged. Something has to kind of leave your life so that you can get your power back, so that you can start to manifest great things, be successful, and get back to work, get back to the things that matter. All right, let's now go one by one here. I mentioned that 9 of Swords can be insomnia, sleeplessness. It can also be giving too much weight to anxiety or stress, more so than it actually deserves. So I would say this month, it's always good to have butterflies before you do something big in your life. But if you start to freak out, if you're getting sort of like pain in your stomach or nausea, or you're really stressed out to the point that you're losing sleep or losing hair or anything like that, this is the time you need to actually get some help, talk to somebody, and realize that nothing is that important. You have to be happy, and nobody's approval is that important either. All that matters is that you are proud about the work that you're doing. At the end of our life, we judge ourselves because God is manifest in all of us, and it's not like God is sitting there and looking at us. We are looking at our life and kind of judging what we wanted to do. And so if you're happy, if you feel good, if you can sleep with yourself at night, you're fine. If other people don't get what you're doing, trust me, as someone who reads cards on on the internet, I understand people not always getting what you're doing. But if you know you're coming from a place of love and light, and you're doing something creative, that's all that matters. So I don't know what's going on, but I do feel like it's important for you to kind of pull back a little bit and allow yourself to just be, okay? With the 10 of Swords, chronic pain, again, it's coming through for some of you. There's also a feeling of, this is overly dramatic in every single deck. You usually see someone in a pool of blood, or just kind of wincing in pain. It's meant to be a full stop kind of card. You see this and you don't want to go back to it. But sometimes with the 10 of Swords, it is the drama king or queen card. So if someone in your life is kind of pulling that kind of energy, or if you have experienced some sort of a disappointment and it's sort of like the sky is falling, I'm here to remind you that it's difficult, it may be unfair, it's probably really, really soul-wrenching, but it's not the end of the world. There's a better thing ahead of you too, a better opportunity. We got that 3 of Pentacles in the middle, and then in the near future, right after the 10 of Swords, is the Queen of Pentacles. For me, this can be associated with buying a house, having a baby. We've got the Moon card at the center, so if you've been having trouble getting pregnant, this is showing me that eventually it will work. But there's a period right now where I think your body is pushing back a little bit because of all this stress going on. For the rest of you, this can be about just deciding to take over the sort of financial reins in your life, starting a business. I've seen this for a lot of different people. Notice how many cats are in the bottom here. I see that this is almost a sign of fertility too. So I think that the next several months are kicking off a new period. So if you've had a disappointment, if you've been sick or depressed, or you feel like the world's been not working in your sort of court, things are starting to change. And you need to kind of welcome that new energy in order to allow it to really start to grow and flourish. And it's important to heal your heart so that you can really become that manifester. Let's talk about the relationship stuff. For some of you that are in a long-term relationship, we have two of the same suit, the Queen, which is you, and then we have the King in the environment. The King is reversed, and for me, King of Pentacles in reverse takes all those really nice elements of Pentacles, which is being thoughtful, being kind, having a nice home, giving of your time, energy, and money to others. This person tends to be materialistic, self-centered, and focused on their own well-being, and maybe not sensitive or empathetic. So if you have someone like that in your life, you either have to have a heart-to-heart with them and see if you can resolve this, or take a look at the relationship. For some of you, it's been like that for a while, and you know that it's time to move on. Now, if you're single and looking, what this is telling me is that there's a little work that you have to do on yourself. I've been getting a lot of King or Queen of Pentacles reversed this month. And it's not always about a selfish person. It can be about wanting to do something for you, which, by the way, isn't necessarily the worst thing. Taking care of your health, investing in your education, doing something to give yourself a skill or trade for the future, it's always good. So I feel like many of you are at that point where you want to treat yourself and do something to take care of you. In fact, you may have been a caretaker. Maybe you cared for a parent that just passed away, because we've got the death card here, or a spouse that passed away, or a child. And if that's the case, I'm really sorry. For whatever your loss is, some of you have lost a loved one or a pet or something. Now it's time for you to nurture yourself, for your heart to heal. And because as soon as it does, all this beautiful abundance is going to come through. This will not be the end of things. There's better days ahead, and that's what I keep seeing. You have to start to listen to intuition and own that intuitive side here. We have the High Priestess. She's reversed. So once we can get her in the upright position, then we know that you can start to kind of take the reins and make things happen. A lot of the slowdown that's happening right now is because you don't believe in yourself. So I want you to believe in your powers and stop doubting them, okay? Then I just see a busy quarter of the year ahead of you. We've got Five of Wands. There's nothing negative with Five of Wands. It's just busy. Sometimes you don't always see immediate sort of milestones or returns on that work, but it's good. It means that it's kind of like you're working out. All of a sudden one day you notice your jeans don't fit in a good way. You have to get shorter jeans or something like that. So or smaller jeans rather. So I want you to kind of pretend that this is like going to the gym. After 3 or 4 weeks or 3 or 4 months, all of a sudden you notice a really positive change. You feel better, and then you get inspired. So put the work in. It's going to be good. It's good in the long term, and you just have to trust and believe in yourself. All right, let's go ahead now and expand the forecast to look at health, wealth, love, and destiny. We'll begin with the health card. And the health card is not just your body, it's also your mind and your spirit. So the mind, body, spirit message this month is acceptance. The card was reversed. Let me just read the message here. It says, "Dear God and Archangel Raphael, please help me accept that everything is going in the right direction." All right, with this being reversed, some of you are upset at maybe the lack of progress that's happening, or there could have been an unexpected and potentially really painful or unsettling health incident that you had to get through. So I want you to work on not beating yourself up, because sometimes there's nothing we can do to change what happened. All we can do is change what can happen in the future. Your decisions now affect tomorrow. Learn from what has already occurred, and rather than beating yourself up, feeling like the universe is caving down on you, because again, I'm getting that sort of Chicken Little thing where the sky is falling. It can sometimes feel like it, but what I see is like wonderful wealth and abundance that wants to come in. Queen of Pentacles, magic, High Priestess, and Five of Wands. You're going to be okay, but you have to get through this period, and you have to somehow process the pain or channel it into something else, for those of you that are frustrated. And then the rest of you, if you're stubborn and you want to make a change in your life, because this is a stubborn kind of positioning of it, it's like, I'm not accepting this. Well, then don't accept it and prove people wrong, because that's what the High Priestess can do. And how many times have you heard a doctor say something like you have 6 months to live, and the person goes into remission and lives a nice, healthy life? So I do believe in the power of the body to heal. I believe that, medicine doesn't know everything, and we can kind of combine Eastern and Western medicine to work together in fantastic ways. So if there's something going on in your life, pull the spiritual component in and help. Believe in your ability to recover and to heal. And then when you support that with regular medicine and treatments, you're going to be that much stronger and that much better, okay? So yeah, you can beat the odds. My father, before he passed, he was so stubborn. and I think he lived probably double the amount that was predicted because he wasn't ready to go. So I've absolutely seen that in my own family, in my own life. And I understand the power of the mind. And I also have had spontaneous sort of healing within my own body, especially I've had an injury, I broke a nose, I've had a concussion. There's been crazy things in my life. I've broken bones. We've all gone through crazy things before. And when you go through these things, it's amazing at the power of prayer and the power of kind of like submitting and allowing the energy to come through and just heal. So whatever you're going through, you can use your stubbornness or your anger to get through it, to push through it and prove people wrong by recovering and beating the odds, okay? Let's look now at wealth. We have a card here that says Door to Value. I think good things are around the corner for you. It's another reverse card. So what's going on here is that some of you are experiencing delays, but what I see with this is that sort of analogy when one door closes, another is opening. So you're somewhere between that process. One's almost closed, another one's just starting to open. Be patient. You're at the nexus between those 2 points. That's the main message that I have there. The one other message that I think that is coming through as I'm looking at this in conjunction with the High Priestess is don't be afraid to knock on a door and ask for help, because we are our own best agents and manifestors. So if you want something, go after it. Be strong. I know you're a hard worker. You're not lazy based on what I can see here. And the Three of Pentacles wouldn't have come through if you were. So I have faith in you. You have to have faith in yourself as well. All right, let's take a look now at your love card. And I love this. Okay, so we have dreams coming true. The card was reversed, but it's a manifestation card. All of your manifesting cards are reversed. And I think it's just about trusting yourself, believing in your own magic. It reminds me almost exactly of what we're seeing with the High Priestess as she's looking at her crystal ball. Even the fact that if you look at this, it almost looks like a galaxy there, and then we have the spiral galaxy right here. And so this intergalactic card is showing that you're connecting with your higher self, and that there's something planetary or cosmic that you can do with respect to your life purpose that's actually going to pull in love and relationships and good people. So if you're single and looking for love, this is saying forget about swiping right or left or whatever. Go out and join some sort of organization that will improve the planet if that's your heart's true desire. If you're a writer, join a writer's group. If you like animals, go help out a rescue. Whatever it is that you want to do, find your passion and your joy, work that, have fun, open your heart, and as you do that, you're going to pull in someone of that high frequency. This would be a soulmate. This would be not just a soulmate, but like a twin flame, someone of a highest cosmic sort of energy. So just know that you have that capacity to do it, but it's not going to be by seeking the person out. It's going to be by completing yourself. I think I say at least twice, maybe 3 times a year that I hate Jerry Maguire, the movie, because of that line where it's like, you complete me. No, you complete you, and I complete me, and together we make a wonderful binary star system. But I don't need people to complete me, and that's what this is showing here. You have the whole world in your hands, and you have everything that you need, and someone else is going to be drawn to that light and that completeness, because they're going to be complete, you're going to be complete. All right, sorry. But yes, I have to kind of correct that idea that a soulmate is a missing piece. They're not. They often come through. And when I say soulmate, I'm really talking about your divine partner, your beloved. When you really meet that person, it's going to happen because you are not looking for them anymore. And it's sort of like this cherry on the cake. So focus on you. There's some healing to be done. There's some sort of big cosmic thing that is calling your energy. You have to believe in your power. As you start to work on some of these things and get through whatever's stagnating here, this could also be your job, by the way. Whatever it is that you need to kind of work through, do that now, and then all of a sudden, you're going to find people knocking at your door because you're going to be in a really good place, okay? By the way, looking at the King of Pentacles in reverse, some of you may just be not not getting the sort of challenge that you need or the fulfillment or the recognition. Now, with respect to the recognition, remember we're in a retrograde. You should probably give this at least a month, if not 3, a quarter of the year. I think that what you're waiting for should happen by then, but if not, then it's time to have a conversation. All right, let's get back into the extended forecast. We got sidetracked there a little bit. So let's now look at your Destiny card. Destiny is very much sort of your choice. This is free will at its finest. But what I'm looking at right now is the current trajectory, and you get to decide, do you like what you're doing? And this card will kind of give you a flavor of how you're tracking. It says, what is already with you? And guess what we're seeing here? Again, manifestation and transformation. This is almost as if we take this, which is showing your divine energy, your healing energy, your psychic energy, and also combine it with the death card, which is the butterfly or the moth that's coming out of this. So in order to really allow for the next thing to happen, some of you have to let go of something that was a defining feature of you or your life. So it could be a partner that you've been with, a job that you're working in, an idea of something that you thought you were, but you realize I'm actually this. It's sort of revealing and coming out. And of course, that's why this would happen in a retrograde. But I have to kind of show you, there's a lot of hands-on cards here. The High Priestess, your love card, and your Destiny card. So you make the changes, you make the present. You are also the one that probably ultimately should be working for yourself or creating things. I see a lot of hands-on energy. So think about being an entrepreneur if you want to, because the Queen of Pentacles is showing that you have that capacity. If not, find a job where you are empowered to manage and make decisions, because you have a lot to offer and you can definitely do that. All right, let's go ahead now and review everything that we talked about, and then I'll leave you with your closing word. Your channeled message this month was to focus on being clear, not only in how you're treating your body, like diet and the surroundings, the people that you're spending time with, but also clear in what you're trying to bring in as far as manifestation. We have that High Priestess here. We have a lot of cards showing the ability to manifest, but you need to know what you want in order to do that. And you have to really clear out the doubt that you have. I also mentioned being able to use crystals, both in your meditation and also just visualization. It's a really great thing to kind of work with as a metaphor. So multiple levels to crystal clarity, but at the very least, understanding what you want, what you need, and then also being clear and clean with what you put in your body and what the environment looks like. With fairy magic, there's 3 things to pay attention to. First of all, we have the green color here of the heart center. In order to activate that, the fairy portion is really encouraging you to have fun, have a sense of humor, a little bit of detachment with whatever you're trying to do in your life. And then the magic starts to kick in because you manifest, you start to believe in your own potential, and it's that believing that actually makes something happen. As we look at the center, we see recognition on the horizon, some sort of success, graduation, or a stepping up moment here. And the cool thing with this is that for those of you that have an idea or are working on something, this shows that there's a lot of potential for it to be celebrated or received well. Be patient with this delay. Some of this has to do with other people that are in the same boat, and you're kind of a part of a batch of people or a group of individuals that are going through this at the same time. So try not to let your fear get in the way of this happening, because if you start to feel like it's not going to happen, or perhaps that your boss or people around you don't have your best interest at heart, it kind of feeds into that becoming a reality. The other thing with this is that there are some people in your life that are not necessarily going to be celebrating this future version of you, this successful version of you. If that happens, it's a natural sort of weeding out of energy that you don't need in your life. I mentioned that some of you might be trying to have a baby, but I'm noticing that there could be irregularity with the cycle, with your menstrual cycle. If that's the case, pay attention to your sleep and your stress, because it does feel like you're under a lot of pressure. And if you're focusing too much on this, we kind of go back to the fairy magic here, which is to try to have some fun, try to diffuse it, make it less of a job, and make it more about being with someone that you love. The other thing with this is it's a creative card, so channel your frustration or whatever's going on in your life into some sort of an artistic endeavor, and that could also be part of this big project that you're working on as well. 5 of Swords, just really focusing on improving communication, being more direct this month, I don't think there's a lot that we have to focus on with this other than there may be some people in your life that are just really difficult to reason with. And if they are, particularly this King of Pentacles in reverse that's coming through, it's time to let that energy go. Take care of your sleep. Remember that when it comes to how you're managing your stress, it's important to not put too much energy into looking at worst case scenarios. I always think it's good to have a critical eye on things, but not if that critical energy actually turns into negative energy and you're only focusing on that. Because again, when we're looking at manifestation, what you think, what you feel actually starts to happen. If you're having any issues with your upper or lower back or your neck, it's a really good time to go see a doctor, whether it's a chiropractor, a massage therapist, or someone that deals with bones and alignment. I think it's time to do that. This is also, as I said earlier, an encouragement to see whatever you're at that you need to let go of as being it's okay. I mean, I feel like you're at a full stop. You're ready to let go of something, and it's almost as if you needed to have an argument or a really stressful situation to give you the green light, and you have the green light now. This can be a card of arguing, and so I do want you to be careful. If there's someone in your life that's driving you crazy, you really want to wait until about the 20th of this month to have that conversation with them, because the retrograde energy at the beginning could make it difficult to think clearly. So wait until the 3rd or 4th week to have that difficult conversation. I see success in the horizon here for you with the Queen of Pentacles. It really depends on what you want. You're very much driving the ship, even if you don't realize it. The hard work is what pays off, so just continue doing a great job, working hard. I see recognition, money, and you really pushing yourself into a new stratosphere, which is good. Before that happens, though, there's some loss that has to be processed, or a sacrifice, or letting go, or a movement of some sort, because we see stagnation here in the ego. Some part of you wants to try something new, let go of something painful, and really take care of yourself, and that's what we saw with the King of Pentacles. I went into pretty good detail on what that person might look like. If there's someone that just is only thinking of themselves and not supporting you, then this is going to, again, make that eventual breakup or separation something that's easy. High Priestess, reversed, you're going to have an increase in your psychic skills. I want you to pay attention to stuff. When this card's reversed, it usually means that you have an inkling to do something, but you don't always listen to it. So work on that. Literally, we have a work card attached to it, and start to trust yourself. The expanded forecast is starting off here with an acceptance card in reverse, which is kind of stubborn, actually, which is showing that you might be able to prove people right or wrong. You can use this energy also to get healthier. So if you're not happy with the way you look or feel, change that. Speaking of change, when we look at wealth, we see doors opening and closing. Don't be afraid to be the one that opens the door or kicks it open a little faster, because you have that capacity. With love, I actually feel that for those of you that are looking to find someone new in your life, if you're single and looking, I mentioned that someone is going to come into your life, but it's actually not because you're looking for them. It's because you're working on yourself. You're creating something beautiful. You're achieving some success. And through this cosmic soul path, someone new comes in. And it could be in a support role. Maybe they want to help you. And when we look at the outcome here, we have basically you have what you're already looking for, and you have to trust that. And that's really what we see with the magic cards here. Once you believe in your own magic, then it starts to work. So this brings your monthly reading to a close. Hopefully you got exactly what you needed to embrace the opportunities, some of the challenges, and all the in-between. If you ever want to talk a little bit more about something that I covered here, or perhaps you have another question that I didn't have time to cover in the general forecast, the good news is you can reach out to me. Simply click on the first card or the first link below the video. This will take you to my booking site where you can take a look at both my rates and availability. And if that works out, then I look forward to seeing your name on my calendar. Otherwise, I mentioned earlier that everything that you see here is viewer and fan supported. If you would like to take an active role in helping to support programming like this, then there is an easy way that you can do that. The second card and the second link will take you to a special part of my site where it kind of walks through the different ways you can become a patron. This can involve doing a one-time contribution, or if you want to join me on Patreon or become a channel member here by clicking the join button, you can do an ongoing contribution, which absolutely is very helpful. It helps me with supplies, it helps me buy equipment like my lighting equipment or the editing software that I'm using, and most importantly, it just helps me carve out the time on my calendar. So I just want to say thank you to anyone that's done that before. the video that you're watching today is a direct result of someone that was generous, or a result of you if you did it. And if you want to help with the next round, I just want to say thank you. You're helping people by doing that. The final way that you can make a difference is super easy. It just involves a few clicks. So if you haven't already clicked on like and subscribe, please do that now. And you can leave a comment if you also enjoyed what you saw here. And then you can join me on social media. The third card and third link will take you to a part of my site where I list all the different platforms I'm on, which is Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and I also have a newsletter. And from there, after you've connected with me, you can feel free to share whatever I've shared on those platforms so that people can find me. My goal on the planet is to create some intelligent conversations about spirituality, to give you the tools you need to deal with everyday things that are going on, and also to talk about awakening and ascending and using this sort of gift that we all have to be a better human. So when you share that, you help me with those planetary goals, and I really do appreciate it. Let's end with your closing word, which is you have more power than you think. That's what I keep seeing here. It's basically what the final card was. It's what came through in love. It's what came through in hopes and possibilities. And I see all of these cards about manifestation and magic. So I really want you to have some fun this month, because I'm scanning it really quickly. Yeah, I'm right. There's no cups. And cups really show playfulness, having fun with people in your life, love. It's all practical. It's all work-oriented. It's all very it's very serious. And I think that's why this came through, this fairy magic card. So I want you to do something artistic, expressive, fun, not productive, just for you. The more it's a sort of disconnect from work, the better. And this is how you're going to be able to tap into your power this month. And I also want you to put aside some time to just rest. I think you need rest before meditation, actually, because this is showing insomnia, fatigue. This is showing pain. Go get a massage, get a good night's sleep, rest your body. Once you're getting back into a normal circadian rhythm, then you can meditate. But as you're trying to get into that normal sleep habit, do some fun things. You have my encouragement. You don't need my permission, but you have my encouragement to, watch some fun television, listen to some music, talk on the phone with a friend you haven't talked to for a while. You need to disconnect a little bit. There was way too much energy here that was serious. And if it's too serious and too focused and there's no fun, then productivity takes a hit. And I think that's what's happening for you guys this month. So anyway, I wish you all the best. And I just want to say thank you. You have so many choices on YouTube and in life. It's humbling, and it's an honor that you chose to spend the last 45 minutes or so with me. Hope you got what you needed, and I can't wait to see you again, hopefully in 1 month's time. So until then, be kind to yourselves, be kind to others, and have an amazing November.